Almost every approach to stress, anxiety, and nervous system dysregulation has one thing in common. It looks backward. Process what happened, understanding where it came from, work through the patterns, heal the past. And there's real value in that work. I'm not dismissing it, but I want to show you something different today. Because the nervous system doesn't just respond to what happened, it responds to what it expects to happen. And it means your future, your vision of it, your felt sense of it, your body's relationship to it. It's not something you move toward. It's something that you can build from the inside right now. We've covered the full arc of the Coherence training system, the science, the measurement, the techniques, the real-world application. Today we get the most advanced piece, attitude breathing and future casting. This is where Coherence training stops being about recovery and starts being about construction, where the work shifts from how do I get out of the state I'm in into how do I build the state I want to live in. It's the difference between fixing the past and architecting the future. And the neuroscience behind why this works, done in a coherent state specifically, is one of the most fascinating things I've ever encountered in this entire field. You see, your nervous system doesn't experience the past and the future the way your conscious mind does. The conscious mind understands that the past is over and the future hasn't happened yet. But the nervous system does not make that decision cleanly. When you vividly recall a stressful event from 3 years ago, your body responds. Cortisol rises, heart rate shifts, the stress response activates. Your nervous system in that moment is happening now. This is why rumination is physiologically so costly. Your mind is in the present, but your nervous system is back in the event. But here's the other side of that coin. When you vividly imagine a positive future with enough detail, with enough felt sense, your nervous system begins to respond to that as well. Not identically to a real-world event, but meaningful, measurably. Heart rhythm shifts, hormone environment changes, neural pathways associated with the imagined future begins to activate and strengthen. The nervous system starts building towards what it's shown. This is the mechanism behind future casting. And when you do it from inside a coherent state, that mechanism becomes significantly more powerful. Here's the neuroscience that makes attitude breathing specifically potent. In a stressed high cortisol state, the brain is in a threat detection mode. Narrow focus, vigilance, pattern matching for danger. That state is not conducive to constructive imagination. It's not conducive to holding a positive vision. The brain in hypervigilance tends to anticipate problems, not possibilities. In a coherent state, prefrontal cortex fully online, parasympathetic dominance, HRV elevated, the brain is in a completely different mode. Open, associative, creative, receptive, and critically neuroplastic. The research on state-dependent learning shows clearly that information encoded in a specific neurological state is easily retrieved and built upon in that same state. What you practice in coherence gets encoded in coherence. And the coherent brain is significantly more capable of forming new stable neural pathways than a stressed brain. Which means the vision you hold in a coherent state, the future self you rehearsed while your nervous system is in its most open and receptive mode, gets wired more deeply than anything you can think about in a stress state. You're not just imagining your future, you're building the neural infrastructure for it. Let me walk you through the practice. Step 1, enter coherence fully. This is not a quick 2-breath shift. You want a sustained heart lock-in state. 5 to 10 minutes of heart-focused breathing with genuine emotional activation. Let the HRV stabilize into the smooth, coherent wave, and let your nervous system settle into deep parasympathetic. Step 2, identify the attitude or state you want to build towards. Not a goal, not an outcome, a way of being. What does the version of you that has made this shift actually feel like? Not what do they have or what they've achieved. What is their internal state? How do they move through their hard day? How do they wake up in the morning? How do they show up in the room? How do they feel in their own body? Get specific, embodied, and real. Step 3, breathe that state in. Literally, as you inhale, bring the version of yourself into your body. Let it occupy your chest, the heart space. Let it feel, even for a moment, that it's already true. Not pretending, not forcing, inviting. Step 4, hold in coherence. Stay in the state. Let your nervous system spend time in it. Let the brain encode it. Let the body begin to learn what it really feels like. And step 5, after a few minutes, release. Come back. Let the practice close naturally. The more consistently you do this, the more your nervous system begins to orientate towards your future state as your new baseline. Not because you willed it into existence, but you train towards it deliberately, repeatedly, in the state where the nervous system is most capable of learning. I want to address something directly, because attitude breathing can sound a lot like visualization. Like manifesting, like the kind of thing that makes data-driven people roll their eyes. It's not that. Here's the distinction. Visualization is picturing something happening. You see it like a movie. Attitude breathing is a physiological practice. You enter a documented neurological state. You hold a specific sense in your body, not a picture in your mind. And you allow the nervous system to encode that felt sense through the same mechanism it uses to encode any trained state. Mental imagery without physiological coherence produces limited neurological change. Physiological coherence with an embodied future state produces documented measurable changes in autonomic nervous system function, hormonal environment, and neural pathway strength. One is a thought experiment and the other is training. And high performers understand the training. Most of the work in nervous system retraining looks backward. We talk about hypervigilance as something that was trained. We talk about coherence as a recovery from that state. We talk about healing what chronic stress cost. And all that is real and all that matters. But attitude breathing points in the other direction. It says your nervous system is not just a record of everything that happened to you. It is a trainable system that is constantly orientating towards what it is shown. And you get to choose what you show it. And that's not a small thing. In the final video, video 10, we bring the whole art together. What actual changes when coherence becomes a trained state, sleep, clarity, relationships, leadership, physical health, the bottom line, the destination, because you've earned the right to see it. Subscribe if you haven't. I'll see you in the next video.